You know, man's getting serious when he turns up with a trailer. Nice to finally meet you.
Right, it's been a long time, man.
Look at this. How was the journey?
Good.
I've heard this is quite fast.
I don't like to blow my own trumpet, but yeah, it does all right for a Honda. Yeah.
Mad, man. We've got the K-Sport brakes, floating rotors, 888s.
Oh, 888Rs, yeah.
And what's quite mad, we were just talking, because I thought it was like CRV running gear, but it's actually...
It's wagon, or the shuttle that we got in the UK, yeah.
Because they came out the factory with like, not a lot of horsepower.
Not a lot, yeah. The wagon running gear is kind of the creme de la creme of four-wheel drive Honda parts, if you ask kind of the Honda bods.
Yeah.
It can take more power, strangely. It's still 2 litre, full 2 litre CSS bottom end at the moment.
And then rev limit on this?
It's 8.6 stock rev limit at the moment.
Okay. What's the actual sort of horsepower?
So
750, 800 at the fly?
Roughly? At the fly, yeah. It made 685 at the hubs and then lifted the head. Bro, this thing feels like a lot more than what it kind of the quoted power figures.
And it's got traction. I did a video with the lad the other day, like 700 horsepower front wheel drive, because he had street tyres on it.
Yeah.
It did actually hook. Like it was a bit greasy when we started, but obviously the main thing with this is you've got like traction in every gear. It spins in first.
So it's basically kind of got an old school Haldex system in it. It's kind of a mechanical Haldex, right? So predominantly front wheel drive. Once it starts to spin at the front, it transfers power to the back.
Okay.
So you get a little bit of spin, and you need to get a little bit of spin so it can transfer the power to the back.
OG, man, these seats look
proper.
Yeah, like they look lightweight. Full carbon fibre.
Full carbon fibre. Bro, you'll see today, they're actually comfy.
Yeah,
honestly, you feel bucketed in. About 5 kg, and then with the rails, it comes up to, I think, just under 10 kg per seat.
Stock seats are probably 20, 25?
So, that's right,
maybe?
20 kg. We actually weighed those too.
Crazy.
So it's a 10 kg saving per seat, so 20 kg. So basically, altogether, how you see this car now, it's 1260.
Sequential.
Yeah, for sure.
Box. Who makes that?
That's a Quaif.
That's a Quaif.
That's a Quaif sequential, yeah.
So just quick.
Flat shift, yeah. So I would say over 80% throttle. Give it a flat shift. Anything under that, use the clutch.
Yeah, we'll be 100%. Nice little personal steering wheel and stuff, and cage is all nice and neat, isn't it? And you got a fuel cell on the back of it, a swell pot, and you got a parcel shelf. People putting them up for like 300 quid
really?
now. Yeah, they're crazy.
Hey, anyone give me 300 quid? I'll do a deal with you right now.
What's the octane rating?
So the octane rating is 118 to 119.
Mad.
That's a Renegade E112 leaded race fuel, which is E85 basically.
That's like 20 up from the standard like pump.
Yeah.
That's a lot of octane, man.
Yeah. You'll see when I drop it down, but both the screamer and the exhaust come out the bonnet, but they come out in one hole because the screamer's piped through the
Okay, so you've got a super short exhaust system. But it must be loud. All MOT compliant, I'm taking
100%.
Something tells me it's going to be pretty next level.
So if you're going to reverse, it's up and forward.
Okay.
There you go. Trust me, guys, just bear with him.
Yeah.
Because this is it's an experience, especially like sending.
What's the clutch line?
Snappy. It's a twin plate competition. That down there is a light on now, a red light. Yeah. Okay. It's just our fire extinguisher system, just in case.
What are you trying to say, bro?
Just in case, bro. Monkey, I love you, bro, but you never know.
Like, I've got fire suppression. Everyone see my minutes. Yes, I set on fire sometimes.
Just driving it normally, using much, and it's just back, yeah.
I'm like excited school going.
Bro, trust me. Hey, it's gonna be fun.
Bro,
it's gonna be fun.
Next level.
Yeah.
Well, this is naughty, man. We're doing 5 meters. I'm
telling you, that's what it does to you. This sequential is so mechanical. It's 5 speed also, yeah.
Alright, 5 speed. Initially, it's very tight. You can tell you've got some money in this. What size are the wheels on it?
So there's 17s, I think, which is usually a little bit bigger than most people would run. So yeah.
Okay. Coilovers are BCs, but you've got the external reservoirs.
That's right. So we've got the BR series at the moment, right now. And sorry, BC, I love them. I work with them. I've had to swap back to my yellow speeds at the front just because I need an additional lifter from my steering rack, and my old one messed up. So basically, long story short, we're running 2 different types. But we needed the ones on the rear because it squats so hard when it's launching. Just bear in mind, yeah, when the boost comes on, bro, a lot's going to be happening. It will try and walk. It will start pulling you around a little bit, but just work with it.
Kind of like a little bit loose.
It's not going to grip the steering wheel out your hands. But just work with it. There you go.
This gearbox is beautiful, bro.
Yeah.
Little pull.
Yeah, give it a little pull. Flat shift, yeah.
man.
Yeah. Probably revved it to about 5,000 RPM.
That was not even... Shit, bro.
Aggressive, isn't it?
That's an understatement.
It feels good, right? It was mechanical.
I feel like a Hulk. Official plug, the bucket underglasses are affecting my display, but doesn't matter, we got this. I suppose, is it with you now when you go from like sequential to H pattern?
I've driven so many sequential cars now, and having owned one, I can kind of swap quite naturally,
yeah.
but you still kind of find yourself doing silly little things, like, you know what I mean?
You can smell that race gas.
Yeah.
What turbo is this running?
It's running a Pulsar GTX 3582R and a T51R mod on it.
Big whistler.
Yeah, I mean, it's alright, it could be bigger. Tell the truth, with the CSS block, I mean, they say 800's about the limit. I mean, we're nearly there. So you could go bigger, but you know, you might meet Rodney in it. So it's just one of them ones.
Oh, this is insane.
It's a different vibe because, as I say, it's just heat haze. I can't see nothing, and I'm like, I hope you know what you're doing here, bro. But you're doing well. You're doing well. All you gotta do is pull back.
Bro, this is absolutely insane, JB. I haven't given a car 50 out of 10 before. It's 50 out of 10.
Yeah? Hey, it's fun, big road.
It's sick, bro.
Monky's a driver.
I love this.
It's very capable. So it's got ASBO mode, yeah? To make it pop and bang. Like, it's no good to boot it on it because it gets choked up a little bit. Right, yeah, watch the screen, yeah? Right, now. Drop it down a lot. So you'll pop and bang. Give it a little bit of throttle, come on.
How do you want more power in this, man? You must be mental. At the moment, it's on the limit of...
It is.
It is drivable, but you've got to pay attention.
You don't need, bro, as I say, I don't really drive it on these kind of roads, on these kind of roads. So for the strip, for that straight line kind of numbers, the cars you can't, like, there's a lot of big builds out there, like, you know what I mean? And not only Hondas, but all different cars. And as I say, I go out and I use this car on the strip, I race it. So when you're talking, you know, going up against these crazy power cars, you always want more.
What LSD is in this?
So we've got a quaife at the front, open LSD at the rear. Okay. So it's got the wagon LSD. And to be fair, we need to replace that pretty soon, especially with more power.
What's the most horsepower someone's run on like the shuttle drivetrain?
Oh mate, there's guys in America, and don't quote me on if it's a complete stock drivetrain, but it's not unheard of to be 1,000 wheel with this setup. Stock, I think. This is definitely the fastest DC5 in the country.
Yeah, so I can believe it, man. It's the fastest car I've ever had on my freaking channel.
That's the red line, bro. I had never been in the passenger seat with it being driven like this, bro.
It's crazy, this car, bro. It's so fast. that line behind them.
Mean survive.
No.
What's under the bottom?
A lot of horsepower. So it's this man's here. It's about 770 horsepower sequential 4-wheel drive conversion. Unbelievable.
Well, I can see you snaking.
It moves. You just got to keep it planted and hold on. It is quite stable, but it's obviously so much horsepower that it's kind of hard to keep it in a straight line. But it's honestly, it's unbelievable.
Is it just for pleasure, or do you race it?
I kind of race it like, but nothing official. But like on runways, I generally race it. It's geared for quarter miles.
Is that what it's best at?
Quarter miles. That's what it does. Yeah, it's short gear ratio, drag ratio. Yeah.
Lovely to meet you.
Yeah.
Nice one, brother.
Look after yourself.
Nice
boy.
one,
Thanks,
brother.
man.
Love it.
Nice
Peace,
one, man.
brother.
Man like Monkey is a fucking lunatic, bruv. Yeah. Wait, I tell that John, yeah? He's never driving this again.
John's been concentrating so much on driving this bloody thing.
Yeah,
we haven't
yeah.
really talked massively about
Yeah,
this. We'll
for
just
sure.
go through a couple of little bits for the audience.
Let's do it.
We'll start with the pièce de résistance, which is
And a business
the
engine.
engine, yeah, the business
Alright,
end, the engine
cool.
bay. CSS block,
Yes.
K20,
Yes.
and then obviously forged pistons, rods, new bearings, ARP, head studs and mains.
Yeah,
and
so we've got L19 head studs. We lifted the head on the kind of just the standard ARP upgraded ones. We basically bolted it down with the strongest ones you can get, L19s. So it's got those fully built head, drag cartel, 00, 3.2 cams, skunk tooth valves and valve springs, built bottom ends.
all the bells and whistles.
Pretty much. I mean, look, it could be sleeved and O-rings,
Yeah.
and as we've been speaking off
That's
camera,
all.
that we got some big plans.
Yeah. And then turbo, obviously, we went through in the car is a pulsar number.
That's right.
And you got all the thermomet stuff as well, which I've just done on my drift car,
Yeah,
which is,
yeah.
I was sort of explaining to the audience, I haven't put the video out yet, but the time they put into
Yeah,
this.
what I like about this thermomet stuff, and shout out to them because they've looked after me, is you know when you see OEM heat management, it's the same. It's pretty much the same.
Yeah.
They use the same technique. So, I mean, with these kind of cars, you know, it's all about keeping temps down. Like, you know, you want to extract the most out of the engine.
100%, yeah.
And that's what this seems to do. Shout out to Overkill Performance because they made this little exhaust. So what this is here is you've got the exhaust pipe, but you've also got the screamer plumbed into it.
Yeah.
Now the reason people get a little bit upset is because they think it's a restriction. And granted, depending on what kind of power you're running, it might become a restriction. But we felt no major restriction at this power.
And then when you've done your like ASBO map,
Yes.
and it was like just crazy colours coming out of the
Yeah,
exhaust.
so
At night time, this
At
must
night
be
time, bro,
crazy.
it literally looks like the car's on fire.
Yeah.
And once you've got some temp in that exhaust, it just goes crazy. In the day, it's a little bit harder to see.
And you got Skunk 2 in the
Skunk 2,
manifold,
yeah.
hybrid racing, fuel rail. You've got a fuel dampener on the, which is from Radium. The injectors were what?
1700cc CPs, so
Okay.
they're Bosch injectors. I want to say about 85% duty cycle with the ethanol in. You know, it adds a lot more duty when you run the ethanol. Another cool thing about it is fly-by-wire also. So it's had that conversion. So that, I want to say, I think that's off a Porsche. I think
Okay.
that's a Bosch Porsche throttle body.
Cayenne or something?
I can't remember. I think it's got Evo 10 throttle.
Stock rear brakes at the back, and then these are Enkeys.
Enkeys.
Sticky tyres. I'm going to say,
Sticky
there's Tinos, man. Yes, I know, I keep plugging them, but you need to consider them. They're like 40% cheaper than AAA.
Okay.
And they're pretty much identical.
Zestino, call me. We worked something out.
Zestino.
Yeah?
On the front again, we've got the 888s.
Yes.
And then we've got the big K-Sport 8 parts with floating rotors. Brakes are good, man. I didn't feel any warping.
Yeah.
And you're doing 9-second quarter miles.
Yeah, so it's run a 9.82, 146 mile an hour.
Carbon fibre front wings.
Yeah, I want to say the Sebon or something.
Sebon. I think
Sebon,
it is.
yeah, so that's what they
cool,
are.
man. And then for the most part, the rest of it's kind of stock. A 2002, so it's like my mum's. It's a pre-facelift. So we've got fuel cell in the back, facet lifter pumps.
That's correct, yep.
Nice cheeky looking.
Radium swell pot.
Swell
It's got
pot.
twin Walbro 450s in it.
Okay.
And then still more fire suppression too, so it's ran round to the back, so at the vitals. So
You haven't just fitted this for today. Have you seen my previous videos?
I fitted this specially for today.
That's your fire suppression.
That is the fire
thing.
suppression there that holds
Yeah.
the gas.
FEV.
A really quality company. They do a lot of handhelds. Shout out to them. They've looked after me. And the product's good, bro. Like, you know what I mean? I'm trying to put the best parts on this
British
product.
company?
British company.
FEV, give me a shout because I'd like to get some fire suppression.
Yeah, man.
Like we sort of mentioned before, we've got these nice sort of looking carpets.
Tillys, yeah.
Like you said, they're not like.
They're not uncomfy.
They're not
right?
uncomfy.
No, they're not.
They're surprisingly they're more comfortable than what they look like.
Exactly.
Quave sequential.
Yep.
Which it took me a while to get my head around it. A little link display, a
Yeah,
dash
so
display.
it's a link display, shows various stuff, usual basically, but yes, we have gear position, ethanol content, all your temp sensors, everything works, like indicators, like as you probably saw, when you come up to shift at 83,000 RPM, it flashes up, shift me on the screen, just so I don't forget in a race situation, because I get carried away, you see.
So obviously you've got your Cajun stuff, and then you've got like
JP
nice
cages.
little cheeky double din, a little bit of like roll cage lagging up here and stuff.
Although it kind of looks, I know the seat and the cage kind of obviously is very race car looking. We've had to cut a tunnel in this for the four-wheel drive. So the guys at Auto Talk have done an amazing job of making the tunnel look seamless. Like, you know what I mean? Because there's certain cars, I think the EGs and the EKs, I think they have a bolt-on kit for four-wheel drives. You don't have to cut anything in the floor pan, but these you do, and you've done such a good job to keep it looking
like OEM, is it?
Yeah, to a certain extent.
I mean, it's stripped out in the back, but you still got your carpet.
Bro, we call it club sport spec. Like
Yeah,
we know there's so much more weight to lose in this car, especially when it comes to the cage too. JP Cages actually had to make a custom cage for this because they stock these cages, but for a stripped interior. So I was like, I want to keep my interior. Like, you know what I mean? I'm
Keep
not
it a bit nice inside.
yeah, a little bit. Like, so they made this one special for this.
No, respect to you and the guys that built it.
Oh man, Auto Talk have done an amazing job. So yeah, and Race Cal, Romain, who macked it.
He used to actually work for Eurospec, and he used to have like some mad buddy club CRX.
Yeah, I think he's got an
back a
Integra
bit in time.
DC2 now,
Yeah.
but I might be wrong.
Yeah,
But he's a legend, bro.
He's
He's
a pretty sick mapper.
yeah, Cyvex Don.
Looking at it straight in, you definitely know this car, don't you?
Still won't drive it like John, I'll tell you that.
I need four-wheel drive DC5 in my life. I was saying to Jamie as well, I might, shit, my mum might be what? I think she's gonna find out anyway, but we might put a supercharger on my mum's car.
Bro, it'll definitely add something. I mean, the K20 engines, they just love a little bit of they love boosting. On the road, the car performs so different to on a flat surface.
track, yeah.
It really does track, but on this small road, so you've got to be careful because things are happening quite quickly, you know?
Yeah, right, Mr. Jamie.
Bro.
Like I said, 50 out of 10.
Thank you, man. Glad you enjoyed it, man.
Yeah, it made my day driving this. I mean, we've had, like you, we've had fantastic cars on the channel, but this is it's a special car, man.
A little bit different, like,
Yeah.
you know, a little bit different.
And I mean, we don't want to go what Jamie's actually spent on it, but it's a lot of money.
Spent a lot. It's taken a lot to get here. I went a long way round. You could probably do it more money effectively or money efficiently. However, it's part of the journey, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we spent a lot, but we got a crazy product.
Crazy result, yeah. We won't tell his missus.
Yeah, please don't.
A big shout out to Jamie. Obviously, you guys know he's got a great YouTube channel. Chuck his YouTube down here if you haven't heard of it, which I'm sure you have.
Yeah, man.
And his Instagram as well. Make sure you give him a little follow. I'm sure he'd appreciate some extra love.
So I just want to shout out Auto Talk for building such a monstrosity, and of course Romain from Race Cal for the mapping,
yeah.
MK Performance for the support, Cyvex, and everyone else who's been involved with this build. Man, it's been a legendary journey.
Yeah, they are. I can tell you now, the end product is sick, man. Hopefully I haven't kind of harped on too much about how much I love this car, but obviously I'm a big Honda fan. I love sequential, I love horsepower, and yeah, James is a very nice chap, and yeah, it's been a sick day out.
Yeah, man.
No complaints, man. 50 out of 10. I hope you guys enjoyed this cheeky little video. Like I always say, make sure you give it a like. Put any comments down below. I'll do my best to get back to you, and Jamie and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Peace out, man.